60. Yeah.
What is the apartment?
So it's the story is like a guy works at this like big office, and he lets his bosses like use his apartment to cheat on their like wives and stuff.
What the shit? I mean, that could be a good premise. I fucking never trust premises. Like, so often, there's like really interesting shit to explore, and then they never explore it anyway.
Because then he like falls for one of the women. I think she's one of the women, but she's like seeing one of the executives.
One of the boss's wives.
No,
That would
like
be pretty typical.
the girl, like
The
the woman is
cheating.
seeing one of the executives, and then he, falls for her. So it's kind of weird. It's like, she's like been to the apartment before. You know what I mean?
If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Well, surely you don't mean sexually.
Yeah.
No,
Well.
you take that back.
Then you got like Audrey Hepburn stuff like Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Was she the one who was in Psycho? Oh, Breakfast at Tiffany's I've also only ever heard of.
It's okay.
That's why I don't want to watch these. I don't want to fucking spend my time on Just Okay.
But it's like, it's not bad to watch. It's just kind of
Dull, maybe.
It's like the storytelling. It's like it's like the message from the film is like dragged out over the whole film. It's like say you have the idea of like Breakfast at Tiffany's. Well, most of them.
Okay.
It's like, say you have the concept of the main character is supposed to realize that like this older guy, like this executive guy is using her and doesn't care about her and just wants to sleep with her. And the other guy actually is like interested in having a life with her and blah blah blah. But it's like that whole realization is the story, and it's like dragged over 2 hours, and it's like you kind of know it's coming. So like you don't.
So there's not going to be any sort of twist or anything.
But it's not a big like realization. It doesn't really hit you that hard. But then it's nice, like you're seeing the actual kind of reality of the person making the decision. So it's kind of slice of life-ish. So there's not a huge like big payoff at the end, but it's kind of nice sort of.
Another fluff piece.
It's like seeing into someone else's life, sort of thing.
Sure.
So it doesn't really. You're not actually. It doesn't actually hit you that much emotionally, but like you get used. Like the characters are kind of nice and comfy, and like you feel like you get to know them.
That's good enough for me.
Yeah.
I mean, as I've said so many times, it's all about execution.
Yeah.
Like, if the characters are interesting,
yeah,
and the dynamic is like believable, grounded, etc. I feel like you can get away with that.
Yeah.
That's what the Untouchables was for me. Or Le Intouchable. So you don't think I'm talking about the Mafia movie? That still annoys me. Like, I can't tell how much you should be correcting for that. But that's basically just a cripple and his friend. Like, that's all the movie is.
Yeah, or
But
sometimes with the old,
and...
like sometimes with the old films, it's like it's like, oh my god, like we have to split up. I'll never be able to contact you again because you know I'm here and you're like disappearing off to like war or something. And it's like nowadays you just have a phone and you ring them, so you're kind of it
There's
doesn't
no way
hit you
around
very
it.
much. Yeah, it's like we have to like I have to go to the war and like I'm moving house and like and all this stuff, so I'll never be able to find you again. I was like, well, just add me on Instagram, I can find you. You know.
Oh, shit like that. Okay, yeah.
So like,
I thought you just meant like there's pointless melodrama where they just find convoluted ways to not be able to be together.
yeah, but then, oh yeah, so it's kind of like you
Because
can't
like,
really take it seriously.
I see everything.
did they make romance different today than they used to back in the day? Because I'm trying to figure out if there are examples of this in modern films.
I wonder who this
Or it's
book
just
could be from.
weird reasons like, no, we can never be together, some fucking Romeo Juliet shit.
Yeah.
Solidify.
Can you think of any?
Like,
Because here, it's almost always just like, will they, won't they? And it's all based, it isn't based on there being anything between them. It's just like, will they realize that they care about each other enough to get together? It's like basically the entire premise.
it's
I feel
more
like actually
now.
could be interesting if they had actual conflicts of interest where things actually would get in the way of the relationship, but I feel like that's like no longer explored.
It's more now just kind of you cheated on me and like I'm bored and like I want to do my career and then
Our bond is strong.
like oh we're too young and, or like we're gay and people won't let
You-
us.
Very true, Isaac, you are gay.
But then the film looks like All of Us Strangers.
What do you say?
Stand with me.
All
There's a
of
film
Us
called
Strangers.
All of Us Strangers, the new one.
No,
Strike a pose.
that any
That's
good?
really good. Yeah.
Since you're trying to impress your artsy friend, do they have any hidden recommendations? Seems like they would have mentioned something previously since you're saying that they...
Yeah, but then the one they recommend is like sort of old one this time. I think it's really good. Well, it's just like a generic like Eat, Pray, Love. That's what it's called. It's just that. It's just like
That doesn't sound artsy, it just sounds like a romance.
yeah, basically it's just like oh my life's falling apart. Let's go to India and learn about spiritualism and shit. It's just like I tried watching it before and it's just like really boring.
So why would you want a recommendation for another artsy movie if that's what your experience ended up being?
No, but as in like that isn't an artsy movie. She was just like oh she didn't know anything about the film.
Oh,
She just watched the trailer and she's like oh maybe it's good. But no, it's just like
okay, so it
generic.
wasn't one
like,
that she wanted to watch with you because she had a...
well, she wanted to watch it because she just saw a trailer and thought it might be good, but it's not.
So not something that's close to her heart, to put it that way.
Yeah. See, All of Us Strangers is really
Damn
good.
shame. Wait, which one was All of Us Strangers?
It's a recent one. I like, yeah, like a sort of gay romance.
Sounds good to me.
But it's like a guy, both his parents died when he was a kid, and he's like writing a book about it. And so he's like revisiting his past and his old house and stuff. And so it's kind of, it's interesting how they do it, where it's like almost like he revisits his parents, like it's like a dream sequence type stuff, and it's good. But I don't want to spoil it.
What, have you watched the whole thing? You mean
Yeah.
you just seen the trailer? Okay.
That's in the whole way. We like me and her went to see that. That was good.
I don't know why I want to watch more gay romances. It seems like they're actually good. Like, isn't The Fault in Our Stars like also basically the same thing?
No,
I still haven't
that's
seen it.
no, Fault in Our Stars is like she's dying, and the guy is like still, you know, dating or something. I think.
Yeah, sad romance.
Yeah, not gay romance.
I don't know. Being sad and romantic is pretty gay.
True.
So is your love life.
Sad but not gay.
Sad but not romantic, therefore not
She's
gay.
sad but not in a gay way.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm straight and miserable. I think I win.
Yeah.
The fuck is this? What's with all the pauses?
I don't know what. Like, there's films like the Before Sunrise like trilogy, and then Midnight in Paris. That's good.
What is that?
Midnight in Paris.
Oh wait, yeah, wait, no, I saw that. What was that again? Was that with Mr. Big Nose?
Owen Wilson.
Yeah.
He's in Paris and like goes back in time each night and talks to like famous writers and stuff.
Yeah. I remember nothing outside that part of the plot. I don't think it even was bad. I just don't remember goddamn thing. Oh yeah, and Amelie I've intended to watch forever. Never got around to it.
Yeah, same.
But the soundtrack though, so good. Surely it's gotta be worth it. You sound skeptical.
There's the new Wes Anderson I haven't seen, the Asteroid City.
Oh yeah, that was a weird one. Didn't I give you a summary of that?
Maybe. I want to see it, so I don't want to spoil it really.
Okay. It's not really a story, but it's like a summary of my experience. Not sure how much a single sentence can destroy.
Destroy everything.
Okay. It felt like a movie about Wes Anderson's inability to make a movie. Like that is the actual plot.
That's good.
Yeah, you like that meta level?
That sounds relatable.
Making things is hard, as we have established.
Trying to find like a film I want to watch because I don't remember. I haven't like written down any really like, oh, I want to watch this. Well, I want to watch Perfect Days, but she's already seen it twice, so there's no point doing that.
But what if it's really good though? And she wants to watch.
One man's stone is another man's gem.
No. Well, she's seen it twice. I wouldn't want to like put her into it.
What sort of movies is she into then? Maybe I'll come up with something if you
Like
tell me shit she's liked.
Loving Vincent, Midnight in Paris, Grand Budapest Hotel, Fantastic Mr. Fox, All of Us
Okay, half of those
Strangers.
were Wes Anderson now already. Oh, those are like generally feel-good movies, so I can see why she'd want to watch Walter Mitty.
Well, she doesn't know. It's just my idea. I don't
Oh.
think she knows about it.
Well, are you crazy? You need to follow my recommendations, not yours.
Shit.
Fine. What about Life Aquatic? That one's pretty bussin'.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no.
Shouldn't I, like, I want to find something that I haven't seen either.
Oh yeah, sure. So you've seen Life Aquatic?
I've seen all of Wes Anderson.
My God, why haven't we watched any of that shit together? What the fuck?
I used to watch it in the cinema. They play loads of them in London like all the time.
I got into Wes Anderson way after it ever got to cinema.
That's the thing here. They re-release it and show it more times. In, like,
Oh yeah,
special cinemas.
yeah. You have that goofy ass cinema of yours, or what's it called again? The hipster screen, something like that.
Prince Charles Cinema.
I don't know. I thought it was pretty close.
No.
I will
Oh, why not, Isaac? Why wasn't I close? Huh?
I wonder if she's seen Eternal Sunshine. Don't know if she has.
Oh, I recently rewatched that. Still good.
Yeah.
It was really funny rewatching it because there's so many fucking top class actors in there that I had no idea were as famous and popular as they were. Like, I didn't recognize Mark Rufio until after I'd seen like Avengers Endgame, and I was like, wait a second, this guy looks familiar. When I rewatch Eternal Sunshine. Oh,
Or like
I like
Truman
having those
Show.
experiences.
Just
what?
like Truman Show, but don't know how good that is.
It's a good
Oh,
premise,
what's that?
but it's like almost entirely a comedy, it feels like.
There's any good like Philip Seymour Hoffman movies I haven't seen.
The Dead Man?
Yeah.
Why are you looking for him specifically? Big fan?
No, just there was some I remembered I hadn't seen. Like Punch Drunk Love. That's more like Adam Sandler. And you've got what's it called? Like Synecdoche, New York or something.
I wonder who this gets.
What do you say?
Dunno.
McDoke?
Synecdoche. Synedho. Synod. I don't know how you pronounce it.
Cinedoce.
Could be.
I don't know. It's how I'm tempted to
I think-
pronounce it.
I think these
I
like
think I've
what
seen that word before, but I do not have any idea
I think
what it actually means.
the problem is like they can't really watch movies that are too like abstract or like
Yeah.
if they're too like dreamy and trippy and like abstract, she doesn't really get them or like
Yeah,
doesn't
when she
follow them.
watched Loving Vincent, that whole thing is like just a aesthetic fever dream. It was just like,
No, but in terms of like
Strike a pop.
like
Go
if
on,
it's
then.
not too explicit in the film, she won't get that like
also because it had an explicit plot
I'm
involving
trying to think of an
Vincent.
example.
Okay.
Like
I mean, does it have
Like
to
if
be
she
complicated?
watched Sixth Sense, she might
Yes.
not even realize, even though it says in the film at the end that the guy's been dead the whole time. She wouldn't get that, you know what I mean?
Okay.
She would like she wouldn't get like the deeper meaning.
I mean, how
It would
deep
just-
does
it
it go?
It would like go over her head that like so she'd watch the whole film. In the film, it would say, "Yes,
He's
he's
dead,
been."
by the
Or
way.
it would try to push the idea that he's been dead the whole film. It wouldn't say it explicitly, and she wouldn't get it. So I'd have to like explain it afterwards.
And you ain't having none of that shit.
But that's why it says in like a film,
Are you
films
worried
that
about
are
her
too much
enjoyment?
like that, then it's like she won't like get it as much or enjoy it as much. So like
Oh.
Eternal Sunshine might be a bit too fucking all over the place.
Well, that's a shame. I really like it.
But then she just doesn't get it.
Okay. Maybe you're underestimating her. Maybe you're just sexist. Just because she's a woman, she can't understand these incredible plots. Hmm?
Or the fact that it's happened multiple times.
That she's been a woman.
Yeah.
Unsolicited. And all
It's
the
the same with
more
All of Us
valuable.
Strangers at the end. There's like a whole thing, and it's like she didn't realize it until we were talking about it outside the cinema, like afterwards.
Isn't part of the fun that everything is up for interpretation? Or is it like
It's
ruining her
not.
experience that she
It's
doesn't?
well, it was in like she's interpreting the film completely differently because she doesn't get the ending.
Stabilize.
Then why is she into artsy fartsy movies?
Well, like ones where it's like a documentary, or like
Okay.
like anything.
I
Well,
consider
I
those
don't.
like
I can't
opposite.
really explain it properly without ruining the film. Like All of Us Strangers.
Oh, okay.
But like it's basically the same. Like imagine Sixth Sense, and then she watches the film and it doesn't enter her mind that the guy was dead the whole film.
I think I had the same experience.
So like she's trying to figure out the meaning of the film based on the idea that he wasn't a ghost the whole film. So like, and then it's like you have
I
to
don't
explain
know.
it to her.
I'm pretty
afterwards.
sure Bruce Willis isn't dead yet.
He is.
Whoa! For realsies?
Yeah.
Ah, shit. Oh, fuck.
So like,
Okay.
Loving Vincent is just like fucking murder mystery. And then
Is it though?
like before sunset and sunrise, it's just a romance and like all this other stuff. It's just like there's no like dream sequences or jumps or like metaphorical sort of abstract kind of visual explanation for things that you have to like figure out visually.
Has she seen Dear Zachary? That's one of my favorite movies. And that's like the only documentary I've ever seen with an actual twist in it.
No, I don't think she probably hasn't seen it. But she doesn't want to watch the documentary, that's the thing.
She does want to watch this one.
Lightning, terrify!
Well, actually, I don't know how sensitive she is to sensitive topics.
Yeah.
Because that movie goes hard.
Solidify.
I'd recommend it though.
Yeah, maybe not today though. So just trying to think of like a film, but it's...
That is. Isaac, how about some philosophy instead of figuring a movie out?
Our bond is strong.
you can,
Are people fundamentally good or evil?
evil.
Yeah.
Truly an exercise
Good
of
thought.
joy.
Like, how do you measure good or evil in a person? People. Oh, great. You and me is recommending World War Z. What a classic. Really artsy fartsy. Those zombies speed around. Fast as fuck, boy.
And she doesn't like action stuff.
Does this woman like anything?
Yeah, well, like she likes,
Okay.
well, like say anime. She likes Studio Ghibli,
Wes Anderson. Okay.
but she likes like Tokyo Godfathers and
Solidify.
Oh, shit.
Things like that.
This isn't your
Like that.
Italian friend, is it?
Yeah, it is.
No.
I'm gonna think of.
So when are you gonna hook me up?
Oh, fuck off.
I'll give her a cup of my chino if you know what I mean. yeah.
I don't think you ever need Chino to give.
Hey. Don't call me Mr. Hurricane for nothing. I'll get some.
It's the hurricane.
You haven't heard the term?
Never heard that before.
Yeah. It's like how to put this? It's like an upbeat insult. Like it sounds like a compliment because like, oh, that sounds sort of punchy, but it refers to people who come too fast. So like a woman touch your thigh and you immediately ejaculate. Whoa, 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 come down to Mr. Hurricane.
Oh. Like saving, what's the word? Like
Private Ryan.
saving you from embarrassment. Yeah. So like, Mr. Hurricane. It makes you sound strong, even though.
Yeah. But I think everybody knows what it actually means. So I'm not sure whose feelings you'll spare with that. But Isaac, why wouldn't you want to come fast? Life is short. You got shit to do. Come fast, die.
It depends if you can get her to come fast. That's the only issue, right?
Nah. She's on her own.
Yeah, Mr. Hurricane strikes again.
Isaac, I can't believe you fallen for that. Everybody knows the female orgasm is a myth.
Yeah.
And what a myth it is.
Greatest mystery.
Hmm?
Greatest mystery. Female orgasm.
The number of times I've seen people online argue about the legitimacy of female squirting
Yeah.
is too many. Like, I shouldn't have seen it even once, let's be honest.
Yeah. So, yeah.
You've seen those arguments too?
It's like it's just the argument of like, is it piss or is it something else? That's
Yeah,
basically,
exactly. And people go so hard, and I'm just like, why does it matter either way? It's like, no, this needs to be some sort of pure element.
Mm.
It needs to be made out of pure femininity, otherwise it's disgusting. It's still fucking body fluids. Like, what do you want? What are you expecting? Like, what if it's actually pure blood plasma? I mean, that'd be weird.
It's just
Actually, that
saliva.
would be. I mean, hadn't I told you about how apparently the tissue is like the same as in the mouth?
Mm.
Like, oh yeah, I think you have taste buds in the vulva, and you also have taste buds on the balls. I was like, why?
Oh yeah, I've heard that.
I think I told you about that. Like, if
But
you
like,
put anything like minty on your balls, you just go, whoo.
yeah, it's like when you get there's like shower gel and stuff you can get. It's like
Yeah.
Yeah.
That shit's weird.
Yeah.
Great experience. You should do it. I don't even know what I'm implying by it, but do it.
I've done it before. Used
God,
minty
you're so
shower gel.
experienced. Have I used that? I must have.
So
Yeah.
sort of common in the UK. Like
Really? People are into that sort of sensation?
it's like usually like the cheap shower gels. It's like they do like three flavors.
Flavors?
Three like scents, I guess you could say. It's
Oh,
always
yeah.
like lemon, mint, or like eucalyptus or something.
Yeah, I think it's eucalyptus I had in my shampoo.
Mm.
I don't know why though.
This Banshees have been sharing good.
Yeah, I really liked it. It's fucking weird. It's like it functionally has no plot, but it's like in a lot of ways it feels very real.
Yeah.
It'd be funny to see how much you project from our relationship onto it.
Yeah.
Because you know the basic plot, don't you?
One's just like, I don't want to hang out with you anymore.
Yeah. I was like, why? You're boring. And I was like, oh. Because I've actually thought about shit like that myself. Like, how? Like, do you really have an obligation to hang out with another person if you're just like grown tired of them or grown out of the relationship?
I guess not, but it's kind of, it's just odd that like it would suddenly happen sort of thing. Like you might realize it, but then it's kind of like, wouldn't you normally bring up the thing of like, you wouldn't just cut it off. You'd be like, hey, when we hang out, it's not very. I'm like, not interested in it. We should do other stuff. Or
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
This is really funny. I've seen like posts like that on forums where people say shit that I find really funny personally. Where they said, what was one? I lost my best friend today just because I was honest with them and told them our conversations are boring now. They haven't talked to me since. It's like, wow, I wonder why. You put fucking all of the burden on the other person and take like no responsibility. Like it takes two to have a conversation and they don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
But
you have to kind of,
But like I said, like it's very realistic. Like you hear the reason when you see the movie, and because you see it from the perspective of a person who's being rejected and he's fucking confused, you get to experience it from his perspective, and you're like gradually revealed what the actual problem is, because in one way it is out of blue, in another way it really isn't. Like it's just been growing over time, but there is a reason as to why he's like suddenly taking action, as to why it's suddenly bothering him more than usual. And that part also felt pretty real. I fucking love this movie. It is one of the better ones I saw recently. Thanks for reminding me, Isaac. See?
I'm afraid I'm gonna have to stop hanging out with you now because our conversation's too boring. Sorry.
If you start playing piano as you do that, then we basically have the plot. No. Because that's the direction of our relationship.
Hell.
Friend? Why do these fuckers help? Why is it always considered magical if you have like any sort of interaction with a wild animal? You know what I mean? Like my dad told me about how he was on his balcony smoking a cigarette and a blackbird landed on his foot and it's like, what the fuck? And he sat there for like a good minute and it flew off again. I was like, in a lot of ways, that isn't very noteworthy. But at the same time, everybody's like, oh, spirit animal. There was a connection.
It's because it's uncommon, right? Or like,
Yeah,
animals
but I think a lot of
stay away from
people
people.
place... Sure, but I think a lot of people place like some sort of weird spiritual value on animal insights. Like, like if a cat hisses on another person, that must mean that person is a bad guy. They do that shit all the time in movies. But it's like, if that shit was real, there wouldn't be any fucking bad guys. Like, it was that fucking easy.
Yeah, well, I guess it's because it's like, animals just like sense. Well, it's more like the
Sentient.
animals have a reaction to your behavior.
Yes.
So it's like, but then you don't really know what their interpretation of your behavior is. Say like your dad on the balcony. It's like, say the balcony is like the best place to stop because there's like a big gust of wind and then something.
Yeah, exactly.
something.
There's
And
like
so
a
it's
roof there, it's sort of
yeah.
isolated. In a
So
way.
it's more that like the bird goes there in spite the fact that you're there anyway. So it's like, or it just judges it based on like, if there was 5 people on the balcony, it wouldn't land because it's like too many. So it's not even about the person. It's just
bird.
like the risk. It's like they identify, oh, it's a person. Like, oh, how much danger can it give me versus how much safety do I need, etc., etc.
Yeah. Like I know what the scientific biological explanation is, but again, people lean into the spiritual side. Mia asked, "What app do you use to call?" Do you think it's a riddle, or like they set up for a joke?
Just, you mean in your stream chat?
Yeah.
Is that the person you normally watches?
Yes, my biggest fan. The woman you've insulted repeatedly at this
Oh.
point, I believe.
They're still
Isaac to
alive.
accept.
Oh, okay.
They're still. Doesn't too happy about it.
Weren't they like Muslim? Forgot.
I mean, they took me calling Allah a bitch pretty personally.
Mm.
So one would assume either that or they're, I don't know, a very theologically defensive
They're just
theologian.
doing it for the meme.
Ah, yes. I mean, it
It's
feels like
probably
that.
more
When, Jesus Christ. I tried talking to her the other day about like the Palestinian protests because she was interested in talking about Palestine earlier, and then now like last time when there's been so many developments, there's so much going on. She's just like, that's just so last week. Who gives a shit? I'm like, come on, you don't have any opinion on this anymore.
Yeah.
None at all. What about you, Isaac? What do you feel
for
about
me? It's
what-
just like,
What?
well, no, there's nothing I can do to affect it, so I just don't pay attention to it.
Yeah, but
What do you
surely
think
it
about
bleeds
it?
over and you
No,
get an opinion. No, not at all.
like
No
I
opinion at all.
actively don't think, like I just ignore it.
You actively ignore it as in you avoid places where it shows up.
But yeah, like I just don't like. It's kind of irrelevant.
Yeah,
Because
but
it's
there's a
like-
difference between passively and actively ignoring something. Like
like-
my dad just fucking blocks out all news media almost entirely. He doesn't want to hear about anything. He subscribed to like 2 topics maybe, which is tech and then some like fantasy fiction maybe. Or it's like one author. that's all.
Mm.
Oh, this direction? Damn it.
Or like people at
My
work.
dad's favorite author is Brandon Sanderson. He seems to like him a lot. Sorry.
Brandon Sanderson.
She asked the question. Thought it might be polite an answer.
She doesn't deserve politeness.
I did immediately back to this.
Well, assuming it's a woman.
I'm assuming it's a woman.
I just have a hard
me
time
too.
believing a woman would like be on the internet.
Ah, yes, that age-old meme.
And like watch your stream and talk the way she does.
Dissipate.
Why? Because he talks like you.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, makes sense. Adds up.
Unsolicited, and all the more valuable for it.
Wait, what the fuck were we talking about? I think I just interrupted you. You were like in the middle of something.
Forgotten now. Oh yeah, like
Damn it.
I just don't bother with the like Israel stuff.
Okay.
Well, it's more like I just don't bother with most things. Like, nothing I do affects it, and I don't care. So like, I just ignore it.
Our
Sure.
bond is strong.
It's just that a lot of information bleeds over anyway. Like, the news is like a box of chocolates. You don't really know what you're gonna get. But I watched the news, and I'm just shocked on people's perspectives. Like I remember seeing recently news about a couple that's kind of weird. They're called pro-natalists, which is that they just want people to have as many children as possible, basically. They see that as a good thing.
Stand with me.
And because a reporter had made a claim that one of the parents had smacked a kid across the face in front of them, everybody like assumed that was true, and just said, just started saying shit like, that couple just looks like
I have a few references.
stereotypical sociopaths. I'm like, like, it just blows my mind how comfortable people are just making assumptions and fucking rolling with it immediately. It's like, because they dress weird and they have a strange opinion, that must mean they're bad. Like, their willingness to believe that is so fucking quick. Fucking weird to me. Alternatively, I mean, how to put this? I know that they think they're guilty because in no other context would you find it acceptable to say, oh, they might not be sociopaths, but they definitely look like it. Nobody would fucking pull that shit on an average person. It's like, you only do that with people that you already have personal beef with. Which means that it seems like it's pretty telling to me that they think that they're guilty of what's being accused, but like, there's no evidence. It's just like a reporter saying that they have a recording of them smacking a child and you can hear it over the recording. But there's like so many layers of assumptions there that even if they had the evidence, had the recording, and showed it, why the fuck would I believe that that's a smack, and that just because it's loud that it's like painful and all this sort of shit? It's like, words are words, you can easily interpret that, but why the fuck would I assume that any sort of background noise is whatever the hell they claim it is? So yeah, it's weird to me how easily people roll with narratives. It just feels like the average person has like sub-zero ability to do critical thinking. Like, there's no process. It's just like, does this feel right for me to believe? Yes, no. It's like, that is it.
It's like it's easy, like when you're just listening to like one person's, they're basically telling you a story, right? So it's like
Who is?
like any kind of, like, you watch the news or a show or just someone's opinion of stuff. It's like
Yeah.
they're trying to get across, and they're speaking to you as if it's true, and like, so no matter what they say, it's like you kind of just go along believing it, in the sense of like, if it's kind of vague enough, you can just believe it to be true, or like it's someone's interpretation of events. It's like, I don't know, it's
I think people are more willing to accept things that end up on the news as true.
Stand with me.
I actually generally do that, but when there's like weird details to how the information is being presented, like in the case that I just gave you, where all the information we have is that these people are pro-natalist and they wear like kind of matching glasses. So like the only two facts that we have is how they dress, because we can see them. What your opinion is doesn't matter. We see the same thing. And that they're pro-natalist. So they have like a faith, a belief. These are only two facts that we have. Everything else is assumption. And people didn't even need to hear the recording in order to conclude that, oh, these guys are sociopaths. Or be comfortable saying that they look like sociopaths. It's like people's lines are hella thick. It's like, how okay do you think they would be with this sort of logic being applied to them? They get accused of random shit. I don't like them. I'll just believe the other side because fuck them. Is that the sort of protocol they'd want? Hard to believe.
yeah. People suck. Okay.
Yep. Sure seems that way.
Or I just get to the thing where it's like, it seems like all anyone ever does is just talk about stuff and like nothing ever happens. Like it's all just people outside of like outside of the situation who they can't take any actions to affect it. Just
Yeah.
discussing the idea, and it's like
That's part of why I actually
cares?
want to talk about the Israel-Palestine situation. I want to talk about the activists. Have you seen any of the things they're doing? Surely that has shown up in the news for you, hasn't it?
like sit-ins and protests and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, sure. What is it you've seen?
Nothing. Like again, I just ignore it. Like, I don't really.
Really? Your favorite streamer, Asmongold, hasn't talked about it, and you're like, oh my god.
No, I've
Now I
I've
know which opinion
unsubscribed,
to
yeah.
have. What did you say? You've unsubscribed or you haven't
Yeah,
subscribed?
I've subscribed.
Oh, okay.
It's just like boring. Like it's
I've
just.
never used my subscription anyway.
No, I mean like unsubscribed from YouTube, like the highlights. I've never subscribed to anyone on Twitch,
Yeah, sure, but
so I don't support streamers. Okay? I hate them. Anyone streams, they're fucking
Good
annoying.
choice.
Just can't be- They don't deserve money. Yeah.
So I'm on whatever the fuck the opposite of a watch list is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ignore
The
this.
unwatchable list.
I'm only here because like I'm on the stream. It's like I'm part of it.
Ah, narcissism. Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
pretty much. Yeah.
I'm glad we could come to an understanding. Eh? So yeah, like the protesters
Mhm.
And all the more
doesn't seem like they have any clear goals in mind. which in some way makes sense because the politicians are the ones who should have a clear goal in mind. But it seems like all they're trying to do, how to put this? It doesn't feel like they actually care about Palestine or any sort of actual meaning behind the movement. It feels like they're using a movement to
Osmanthus
try and exhibit control because they don't actually have any. That's what it feels like. So they're just they're just trying to pester celebrities to say like Viva la Palestine or some dumb shit, and then that's it, as if that achieves anything. So it feels like a bunch of people just staring in front of the fucking Dark Knight monitors, seeing all the people and just seeing, what can we make them do today? Can we make them jump?
Shower me with
So I get a distinct feeling that the movement isn't going to go anywhere, and people are just going to be angrier, and that's the only thing that's going to change.
That's because, like, for me, it feels like it's like, you know, like, let's, you know, protest Israel and just, you know, the war and everything, and it's like all these huge demonstrations in London and all this stuff. It's like, what has your protest actually done to do anything to the like situation? It's like nothing. It's like, it just seems like a way for people to feel like doing something when they know they can't do anything, so they just kind of like
solidify.
do something to make
Settle for
themselves feel
anything.
better.
Yeah. It's like the most generous interpretation I have is that people haven't... Oh shit, I need to get off this thing. People haven't figured out like what they do want. They or they don't like have a through line. They might have like, okay, peace in the Middle East or something big like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, we're not quite there yet. And then just go to the next step. I was like, okay, the next step is get as much attention as possible. So then you just get people to serve as voice boxes for them, megaphones, and try to get as many people to repeat the same shit as they do. And then that's it. You have step 1 and the step question mark, and there's like nothing in between as far as I can tell. They're not pushing legislation. They're not pushing people to talk to senators, not pushing people to talk to other people in power. Even though like the individuals can do that themselves, they still feel like they need to get celebrities to do that.
Yeah. But then it also depends, for me, it's like what perspective you take on the events anyway. So it's like, so from,
everyone hold hands.
say like from the perspective of like the human race, right? It's like the whole thing in Israel and Gaza is like basically irrelevant compared to the whole world, you know what I mean?
It's
like-
as are most things, yes.
Right, so then it's kind of like, that's how it's like. So do I choose to think of it from that perspective or from another one, or like, do I?
What
I know.
else?
It's like I basically try to look at everything from a perspective of like the human race instead of from like my own personal like feelings and stuff,
Okay.
or like what I care about or who I like and all this stuff.
I thought you didn't. Wait.
So
You're
it's
saying
like,
you're viewing things from the perspective of the human race.
Hmm.
But through all the conversations we've had, it seems like you said repeatedly that you don't actually care about that. You're just gonna focus on doing your own thing. Everything else is too big.
Well, no, as in like I can't affect it.
Yeah, but then the conclusion is the same. Like,
Well, like say,
it's-
so say for example, if Israel
how
win
much
or if
downward do you have to
Palestine win,
scale? Yeah.
what's the difference?
How much do you want to elaborate?
Well, it's like I prefer
There's the whole
Judaism
World
over
War III
Islam.
threat.
So
Okay.
should I just like hope for Israel to win? But then,
If you view it in terms of winning and losing, then I guess.
right, exactly. But then it doesn't seem like Israel give a fuck about like having like two states anymore. They just want to kill everybody and just take over everything.
Yeah, that part's a bit of a problem.
So like, and then it's like, well, and I don't like any religion, so then it's kind of like, well, I don't really want either to like, I don't want any religion to flourish, you know what I mean?
Hot take.
Yeah.
Coming through.
So
And yes, I do know what you mean.
it's like,
Genocide.
support- yeah. But then you have this like the difference between Palestine and Hamas, and it's like Hamas are basically like,
I'm sorry, like that.
yeah.
Those broad vowels when you pronounce Hamas is just really funny to me. Fucking Hamas.
Fucking massive ass ham. It's like,
But isn't the conclusion the same? Like whether it's whether you view it geopolitically, culturally, or as you said, from the perspective of the entire human race,
mhm.
then it seems like all of it is too big for you to bother to interact with it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't. I just
Okay.
so I can have an opinion, but I don't care. Like my opinion is from a broad
Okay,
sense.
but then how much do you actually view things from the perspective of like the entirety of the human race? Can you give me an example of that?
Well, it's like it. Well, from my, it's like no, say like Israel, Palestine. It's like both are
Uh-huh.
predominantly religious, so then either is bad because they're religious groups. So like for the human race, there should be no religion. So like I don't root for either religion to flourish at all. But then it's like the states and the people in it aren't the religion, so it's like I don't want anyone to die, and I think anyone's death is bad. But then I think religion is also bad, so it's like
So that's a sacrifice you're willing to make.
so it's like it for me. It's like I don't. All I know is that I don't want people to be killed. But then,
Okay, do you want my incredibly overly elaborate and intricate understanding of the situation in the Middle East?
hell yeah.
Okay. I think they do need a one-state solution, and Israel should have gotten the shit together a long time ago and treat Palestinians properly from the beginning, because if they can't broker any proper peace between the two, it's way easier for the surrounding countries to attack Israel under any sort of reasoning, because Israel doesn't share land and culture with Palestinians anymore if they separate.
Hmm.
And if they can't come to terms, then that's just another excuse for a lot of these other Middle Eastern countries who like funding groups like Hamas
Yeah.
to keep funding that shit, or even other terror organizations, or even straight up go to war. Because look at all the excuse fucking Russia needed.
Yeah.
So like Palestinians being there was actually a good buffer. And the thing that's sort of weird and funny is how you can tell how little the other Middle Eastern countries actually give a shit about the Palestinians, because the terror organizations they fund use their people as human shield constantly, and then people get mad at Israel when they shoot back at the civilian shields in order to get to the terrorists, which is a really cool dynamic. But it's also like, not only should they not use them as human shields, they could take them to safety if they ever gave a shit, and they could also get them across the borders and transported to their own Middle Eastern countries and Muslim countries if they gave a shit. They're not doing any of that. They're just looking for an excuse to hurt Israel. Like, their priorities are fucked. And the frustrating part is that Netanyahu's priorities seem to be just as bad. It's just fucking bad people on both sides. The people who should be making the decisions aren't the people in charge. And the people in charge should not be making decisions.
Yeah.
And that's why I probably have the rare hot take that I actually believe in a one-state solution, because I think they need to be forced into the same country and sort their shit out, because if they separate... how to put this? It's not going to be good for either of them. Like, Palestinians... Like, if they separate from Israel, what support are they going to get? Like, financially or politically, like, in any sort of way. They're just going to be isolated. And then when Iranians or some of these other countries find any excuse to attack, who do you think is going to get hurt first? Because they're going to attack via Palestine. Guaranteed. It's like, then you're gonna have actual genocide. It's like, it's not gonna look good. It's gonna be fucking awful.
Yeah.
So anyway, this is what I spend my free time thinking about.
Yeah.
Just like you, I think it's a waste of time because it's not like I can influence it either, but I like thinking about things.
But the way I like to, I think about stuff in terms of like individual ideas.
Sure.
So it's like, if someone says a question of like, what should be the solution of how should you resolve like the Israel-Palestine conflict? So then my first one should be, everyone should stop following Islam and Christianity and Judaism. That's my first solution.
And how is that actionable?
Exactly. So it's like,
Stop.
it's like it's already failed to begin with.
You might as well say, I need people to stop believing that war is good and stop believing that killing is good. It's like, you know, that's a really good point. You should make that happen, Isaac, like any day now.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing. It's just like, don't be religious, and then like a lot of your problems will solve themselves.
Yeah, or you could address each underlying individual point.
But it's like they all stem
But you
from,
can't
they're just
control
going to
what
happen
people think.
again.
Yeah, of course they are.
It's like, we need this place for the Jews because it's like the holy blah 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 blah, and it's like, well no, it's not, because it's not holy, because religion's bullshit. So like, you shouldn't care so much.
Nothing's holy.
But then it's like, you have the differentiation between like Judaism and Jews. So it's like, is it a race or a religion, or is it both? And then it's like,
You have all of the above.
yeah,
But
so it's,
part of the issue is with the amount of persecution Jews have had over, I mean, I'm pretty sure I've summarized this point before. They pretty much needed a place of their own because of the level of persecution they've had, like, over so many different years. But also, where the fuck would you place them in the middle, like in the middle of the Middle East, where they're surrounded by Muslims who hate the fucking shit out of them? You might as well have just established a Jewish state in the middle of America. Like, that would have been better. Would have been kind of weird, but so is this, so why not?
but then the Americans weren't going to give up any land or anything, were they? 'Cause-
Yeah, of course they wouldn't.
But then it's, I don't know the history of like how it's like the Jews It's like that was the where they wanted their place to be because it's like in the Bible and the Holy Land and things like that. It's not a case of like, say
Yeah.
you gave them somewhere in America, they would still be
I'm not
like,
sure
in the
there's
long
like
term, we
one
want Israel
clear
back.
answer to like one specific reason, but yeah, there's probably cultural, religious reasons, heritage. It's probably bloodline shit is always an argument people like using. Several generations of people being there. But then you have, like, when people swap land, like, swap the same land, like, 20 to 50 times over, like, 2,000 years, how the fuck are you
Yeah.
gonna say, like, no, these people belong here, not those? It just doesn't work. Because, like,
It's the
no,
same,
if you go back like another 5 years, you'll see that these people were there even before. Okay, yeah, but 5 years before that, it's like, no, we don't include that.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, okay, but like 50 years before that, it was a fucking herding grounds for camels. So give it back to the camels. Like, what the? Why are we
Yeah.
using these arguments?
And then, or you could be like, well, fucking the Roman Empire owned fucking everything, so then just give every country to Italy.
Sorry, Yumi says ideology too. I was like, would that be part of the culture though? Don't we consider ideology
Religious
like a large
ideology?
part of culture? I mean, technically, you can't separate them, but I don't know how much value that has. What do you think?
Why do you like? Well, for me, it's like religions are just collections of ideas, right? So everything is just ideas. Like the thing of,
Sure.
like our people are from here, like historically, and it's like we humans evolved from Africa, and then Europeans went to Europe, and like all this kind of. It's like who cares? It's like
I really
just-
watch these typing, by the way. I mean, aren't you
Yeah.
on the stream so you can read it the
Yeah,
chat yourself?
but I'm shooting robots and helldivers.
A little distracted, huh?
Yeah, but so it's like the ideas they follow are the kind of problem anyway. That's why I don't like religion, because it's like loads of people. Anyone could be like a Muslim, or anyone could be a Jew, like follow Judaism or Christianity and blah blah blah.
Yeah,
but it's like
and that's
different
why
sects.
talking about
and-
Jews is really confusing because it is culture, it even is genetic, and it's also religious. So there's so much overlap and conflation. Like, it's hard to even have a normal conversation about, yet let alone one as heated as this.
Yeah.
But that is true. There is a difference between being a Jew and being a Zionist. Not everybody believes
exactly.
in
Well, isn't
having-
Zionism basically the same as like extreme Islam, where it's like we are the chosen people, everyone else should be fucking dead or
Yeah,
like
I mean,
below us?
technically, I think that is also like it. I think Orthodox Jews think that, but that's not the same as Zionism. Like, Zionism seems to specifically believe that they should have their own holy land, which is Israel.
And it's like only the Jews.
But that's like very baked down as well. So like, it depends on how reductive you want to be about it.
Yeah. Then in the Islam, you have the like,
You have different sects in there as well.
but then it's quite blatant in there that it's like Muslims, like everyone else is like Islam is the final religion. Everyone has to be Islam, and like.
Oh yeah, no, they are way more dogmatic about it than any other race. The race, any other, well executed by me.
But like
Any other,
thing with-
any other religion, like that's why talking to Muslims is like way harder than any other religion, because in every other religion, everybody agrees like, okay, there's some like interpretation involved, and there's some like divine inspiration that came into the writing of it. And in Islam, it's just like, no, this is the word of God, literally.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, it makes it kind of hard to argue, but okay. Even Orthodox Jews wouldn't
Yeah.
support killing innocents. Well, I guess it depends on the Orthodox Jew, but as a general rule, yes, I would say they wouldn't. I would say most people wouldn't support the killing of innocents. The problem is how some of these sects end up defining who's innocent and who isn't. Like the fucking insane Palestinian supporters are just like, what the fuck was one of the quotes? The baby settlers deserve to die. Like, whoa, 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 whoa. So like, they've been born there, but because they're born from settlers, they now deserve to die. It's like, it seems to be the underlying logic. And I'm just like, how can people say that shit with a straight face? That is insane.
Yeah. But then the thing I understand.
Sorry, I just want to reply to this. The reason it would be hard to argue with somebody from Islam as opposed to another religion is you could at least argue the interpretation of certain things. Like, for example, at one point in the Bible, I think Jesus pretty much very directly says, like, be a good slave or some shit. And then you can say, okay, but it's more to do with, like, make the best out of your circumstances or some shit. But yeah, if it's Islam, then it's just like, no, he's telling you to be a good slave. Because that is the literal word of God. Why would you leave it up to interpretation? But even though people say that, they still argue with each other. So obviously there is interpretation. So it just is more heated. Like, they still have the same problems. Even extreme wokes exists. I hate all these abbreviations she makes. IG, like I can't be bothered with this. Isaac, interpret for me. Alt tab out of your insect slate.
I don't know. That's the thing. It's like, if it's open to interpretation, then it's not a good idea, right?
I don't think that's how that works.
But as in, like,
I think you're gonna have to elaborate what you mean.
like, so you read the Bible and it was written thousands of years ago, and then in it says about how you should treat slaves, but then that part of the Bible is only because at that point in time slavery was common. So it's like Jesus talks about
Yeah,
it
but
as
then
if
we
like
can't
you
ever
couldn't
admit
change
that the Bible can
slavery.
ever go like out of date.
Yeah, so it's like, but then because it's fixed, and it's like religions are fixed, and all the like books and stuff are like you have to
I think
follow
it's
them.
kind of
It's like,
sad that we can't just say like the religions, they were good ideas at the time because it was a quick and easy way of getting people to follow rules and laws and make them understandable for people to a large degree, and also give people a sense of community. Like, there's value from religion in that. But now there's so many downsides, and we got ways of getting the value that we would from religion without having all the extra baggage. But people are just unwilling to move on. People fucking hang on to that shit for dear life. So instead of like giving it a nice send up where it's like, let's be grateful for all the fucking churches. There's some fucking great art that came out of it. Listen, shit was nice when it lasted. Bye bye. No.
that's what I mean. It's like when I was
Like, I
saying
fucking like those
religion.
cathedrals.
Religion is just a collection of ideas. It's like you take the good ones out
Yeah, you
and
should.
like keep the good ones and just
But the problem is that they're packaged
go
together.
forward.
Like,
Right,
it's
so,
same
like-
with the political movements. Like, honestly, there's some really funny shit. Like, there's a lot of shit in communism, I said this before, that I actually support. Like, if you look at what motivates people, you shouldn't give them monetary incentives because it corrupts everything. So and also, people don't actually become that unhappy if everybody's like paid the same. It actually seems to be healthy for the psyche to not have to think about that and value each other based on like the income that people receive. But nobody's willing to make that change because people don't believe in that. And part of the problem is that if they don't believe that that part can be true, then they're going to fight it and then actually sabotage the payoff that could come from it.
What's this bitch talking about? You can't just cherry pick. What does that mean?
I don't know. I don't know which part she's referring to there. That's part of the problem with like the timing of the chat. If I
then
don't
it's
know
like-
when that is.
Well, it's like if we're talking about okay, you take the good ideas out of religion. You can't just cherry pick. It's like yeah, you can. You just take love your neighbor, and it's like that's good, and then you just don't take the like beat your slaves only if don't kill them though, just beat them.
Yeah, but hold the
Like, you
cherries. I'm
can.
just picking.
It's like you can. What you do is you just take the good ideas and then abandon the religion and just follow other rules in your life.
Drop all the weird metaphors. Stop pretending that invisible people are real.
Yeah. Just treat religion the same way you treat Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings.
Oh, dude. I might actually become a fan then. Dude, what if they make the Bible expanded universe?
Yeah.
Or Islam or any other fucking sect for that matter. Would be bussin'.
I mean more in the sense of like
But
there's a good like in the fucking Harry Potter it's like don't, or like Lord of the Rings it's like don't give in to the temptation of power. Like, oh, that's a good idea, but then it doesn't mean that I have to dress up like a fucking hobbit
wizard
now, and like wander around and like
not all who wander are
fucking
lost, Isaac.
yeah, and think all the trees are Ents, and like go looking for the Ent wives and shit like that.
But it would be an epic adventure. I'm not a communist. I doubt it. I'm just saying there are certain ideas that actually make sense when you put it through certain filters and you have a level of foundational knowledge. Like how people are motivated and what you use to motivate people actually affects how they act and how they approach problems. There's something called purity of intent, which is why you don't actually want to motivate people based on money. If you have two people who you'd assume is like of the same skill at that point in time, and one of them is motivated by money and the other is motivated by an actual interest in the field itself, you predictably have one person performing better than the other. The person who's there for the money is going to optimize for the money. The person who's there in order to further the field is going to actually further the field.
Yeah.
Oh, I think we're gonna get insane examples there. Okay. But what if your mother has a cancer, you would need to be paid more to pay her medical bills?
Wasn't like people should be able to pursue things to earn money quicker if they need more money.
No. The country and the community and the nation at large should have a collective interest in keeping everybody alive. And it shouldn't be dependent on whether or not you have a certain job or a relative of yours has a certain job. Like, it's even by proxy at this point in this example. Like, why the fuck should my survival be based on whether my son had an interest in a certain job that paid more? What the fuck? What the actual fuck do you mean?
Yeah.
That is horrible. That's why I don't like capitalism.
Then what about when you have like, say like you have a country and like the infrastructure, it's like, who's gonna work in the sewers? Like no one wants to be in the sewers, but someone has to do it. And like, but there's no monetary incentive.
And this is why I don't want to go too far into it. All I said from the beginning of this conversation is that most political ideas have certain ideas that make sense when you put them through certain lenses. And like the lens I almost always put things through is psychology, how we know how people behave, because all like the entire point of creating laws is to create incentive structures so people behave in the ways that you want. Like, you send people to prison for killing because you don't want people killing. It's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
And at the same time, that's why you can't ever have like completely free capitalist market. That shit is insane. being motivated by nothing but greed and having like no guardrails, it's like Bioshock immediately.
Yeah.
Sorry, I need to read through this again. That makes sense, but people would still want to get educated and develop, like society wouldn't develop that fast if everybody was paid the same. Wrong. That's sort of why people argue for free education. My ability to become more educated also shouldn't be dependent on what earnings my parents made. My ability, or... Sorry, let me think about this again. My availability of further education should be based on the likelihood of me succeeding at the education. And there I actually hope for meritocracy. Like, why the fuck are we assuming that any parent or any individual has a better understanding of the outcomes for their educational future than a system that's trained and built around getting the correct answers? Like, I would even fucking trust AI for that shit. That depends on how successful the society ends up being. Sorry, I should just read this. Okay, but what about lazy people, people who don't get jobs? How would they live? Should they still be taken care of? Everybody should be taken care of. Unfortunately, how to put this? People misunderstand how people are motivated. Again, like, this is why I wish people were more educated in psychology and behavioral biology. There's a lot of things that would change how people view most things. Politics, religion, daily interactions with other people even. No, not therapy, just learning about psychology. Like, it should be built into the curriculum. There's things you could straight up remove, like, how to put this? Geography shouldn't honestly be a thing unless you're like specializing into history. Politics should be a thing because you need to understand how people interact with laws and try to think around building laws. But none of those things even matter unless you have like a foundation in psychology to understand how people are motivated by the laws. So, like, to me, psychology is so foundational to how you understand all the other subjects that the fact that it isn't mandatory drives me fucking nuts. Porcini equals motivated people. I'm like one of the least motivated people I know. I think too much and do too little.
Then you like
so depending
thinking.
on how you measure that, then
Yeah. That's why you have like a society where you like spread the speciality around.
yeah,
So
that's
like,
why the whole diversity is strength meme is actually pretty handy. People are good at different things for different reasons, and you should let people compensate for each other's strengths via specializing rather than having people dilute their speciality in order to cover for themselves. Move, you damn thing. What would your job be if you got paid the same as everybody else? Here is where it gets complicated because I would have to restructure a lot of society to change people's motivations to get different jobs, because like you said, money is a motivator, and there are some jobs that, like, money is a motivator, but also social credit is actually the stronger motivator. People misunderstand how the hierarchy of needs work, sort of. Hierarchy of needs is not the correct term in this circumstance, but the hierarchy of motivations. People think that people always pursue money because that's the most important thing. No, people pursue money because people tell them it's the most important thing. Because people get judged by the amount of money that they have, they feel pressured to do it by other people. People can be completely satisfied with way less than people assume, but because they feel less valuable, if they have less money,
Yeah.
they feel incentivized to pursue that because of that. But that's also the same motivation as to why women have to wear makeup. It's just a pressure. It's like, it's not a necessity. And it's not like it's a life or death thing if you wear makeup or not. But people look at you funny. And people underestimate the effects of that. People are incredibly shallow. People are incredibly socially driven. Any sort of sense of shame is basically a primary motivator for most people. The world would be a better place if people had high self-esteem. It's not about that. It's about how they value their own self-esteem. The fact that they're basing it on money is a incorrect metric. Basing it on how they look is an incorrect metric. Basing it on how do we put this? It should be based on the impact that you have on society and people around you. That is what you should use as a metric. But because that's so vague, people would rather resort or reduce it down to, for example, money. It's a measurable metric. And you could say that you've had an impact on people, otherwise people wouldn't give you money. And this is the sort of same mistake that you see within a lot of industries and corporations, where they chase incorrect metrics and end up shooting themselves in the foot by optimizing for things that aren't the actual thing that they want to optimize for. So, for example, they... like if you have a website like YouTube, and you go, oh, okay, we want to make people happy. So we push only videos that have a high like to dislike ratio. I was like, okay, we push that, and then we realize we're not getting as many people onto this site as we used to do. And then realize that's not what we're actually interested in. We're interested in number of views. And you start pushing that metric. And then you realize, okay, we're getting people to click on way more videos via clickbait. But what we actually want to do is make money. And then you need viewer retention so that you can push an ad every 10 minutes. So like they're fine-tuning what their actual desired outcome is as they move from metric to metric. And technically that's a good way of doing it. But you gotta have like a foundation of what you actually want out of it. Because if it is only money, then they're doing well. If they care about people's mental health, there's a lot of videos they should not be pushing. And that is why optimization and incentives and public behavior, as unsexy and unfeeling as these terms are, they're incredibly important. And I wish people had understandings of those things. Yeah, I even missed the first circle. Fuck me, Jesus. Anyway, hi Isaac, how are you doing? That was a long-ass monologue.
No.
Thanks for the support.
Well,
You understand me though, right?
I don't understand shit.
What vids would I want to be shown? Honestly, Vsauce has made a playlist of their series called Mindfield, which covers a lot of the pop psych phenomena that actually are important for people to know. because there's a lot of weird quirks with people's psychology that affects their routine behavior and day-to-day interactions, like very fundamental things that are just completely nonsensical and irrational, but everybody does them. And everybody's blind to them, which is why people are so fucking easy to manipulate.
Yeah.
But also, I think those videos are just entertaining. Like, for example, the... You've heard of the trolley experiment, right? Yeah, sure, I'll spell it out because it's a
one with,
play on
like,
words.
The train, and you like tell it to go certain directions.
Yeah. The trolley experiment, where you have one track with one person on the trail track.
Yeah.
And then you have another train track with 3 people. Will you let the trolley drive over the 3 people, or will you intervene in order to move the trolley over to that one person? It's a very simple mathematical experiment. They try to phrase it like that at every opportunity. But this isn't a moral conundrum. It's a moral test, and people fail them. And there's a psychological element it reveals, which is that people would rather be passive and let worse outcomes happen than be morally responsible for a less bad outcome. They don't want that responsibility. And if you understand that this is how people are motivated, it's no fucking wonder the world is such a shit show.
Yeah.
Anyway, I need to get off my soapbox and start harvesting some random material in this environment. Oh yeah, and it's like, again, there's so many irrational... Oh fuck, I need to re-log in order to type shit out. Hope I remembered the password and everything. Oh, you piece of shit. What the fuck was I saying?
People are fine being passive because they don't want to morally have to deal with stuff.
Yeah, but that's not where my train of thought was going. Goddammit.
Where was it going, bitch?
Exactly. Hey, Isaac, any thoughts?
Thoughts? Not really.
Thanks for sharing.
Well, on one specific topic or what?
In entirety at the moment. Are you familiar with the things I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You find them as amusing as I do? I don't know why you fucking chat broke just as I was about to type in the name of the thing. Discord, do you know my Discord user?
Does Isaac know your Discord user?
You
Like, do I know your Discord? I know your username, or do I know you, or can we talk on Discord? Is that the question? Like,
I
you
have
allowed
like
me to have access?
multiple usernames, and I've forgotten the name of my Chinston account.
Yeah, I know it because you're friends with you on it.
Yeah,
You're in the server, so you can look up your
There I
own
am.
thing.
I sure can.
Or is there a separate login,
Wait,
like
what?
a username? Well, I don't know
What
if
means
I
separate
can
login?
use because there's like a username, but then there might be like a login name or something. It's like separate.
Yeah, that's what confuses me. So sometimes people seem to be able to find me based on one and not the other, and I don't know why or which one I should be linking. And I thought they stopped having all the numbers on the usernames, and you weren't supposed to be using that shit anymore, but
Yeah, they changed it.
yeah. No, you
But it's
are
only
you.
if you've picked a username.
Yeah. Did I do that on that account? That's
Because
what I
they
can't
like
remember.
staggered it.
And that's why I'm confused as to my ability to share account information. I had this problem earlier. Like, when I'm trying to contact someone, what am I giving? Did I have to change my account first before I could share it with somebody? Like, if I weren't
don't
friends with
fucking
people
know.
already, I think I had a problem.
Why would you want to give this bitch your fucking Discord
wouldn't.
anyway? Well, then why do you care?
Technology.
Just make
Very
a new
cool.
one.
Yeah, exactly. Call it Yumiya fan number 1.
You a bitch. That's what the fucking name is.
Fuck's sake. Oh no! Oh no! I'm exploding a seal via echolocation. Oh well. If you don't pick a user Discord, we'll pick a random one for you. Do you have dementia? We're creating a server, Isaac. Stay mad. You won't get to be admin like me. Ha ha ha.
Well, creating a server for all the fans.
She's she's already on a power trip.
All the fans.
She's suspecting that you and Dave will show up just so she can harass you. It's
Like,
fucking...
we already have a server that you're not invited to, so why would you want to join one with you?
Listen,
One noob.
let her dream. Let her have this. She clearly needs it.
Let it dream. I think that's a better term.
As you just sound transphobic now. What the fuck?
Can you be trans and a Muslim?
Is this the debate you want to get into? Accept the request, Isaac.
What do Muslims think of trans people? I don't know.
Well, it depends on where you go and who you harass. I've heard stories of somebody saying like, no, it's fine because we found some sort of religious loophole where you can fuck a trans person. And it not be gay or something.
It's
like, yeah,
it doesn't count if they're not Muslim anyway, so it's like you just do what you want.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Oh my god.
Having fun?
Strider.
Oh yeah, doggies. I'm a doggy on the edge. Wait, fuck! Oh, I was supposed to cut this? I had the slicer. Oh. Slicer. Oh, well, he's right there. No biggie. Rocky Avil's disappearance. Weird, but okay. No, aim. Oh, that hit nice. She, like, again, I tried having a conversation about this Palestine shit with her yesterday, and the entire time she was just like, what is your Discord username? Tell me your Discord username. What is your Discord username? Just non-stop.
Just has no friends. Needs you.
Well, sounds like familiar territory to me.
Oh, what's that?
Ow. It's fine. Isaac, I think a squid is having sex with me. It's spitting on my back. That's
real.
basically the same, right? Ah! Will it be able to enter? It better not. Enter knight.
I'm trying to think of like something I would like to talk about, like the political idea or something.
But Isaac, you don't like talking.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Like, do I need to remind you that one of your favorite movie ideas is one where there is no talking the entire way through?
Well, it's like
What?
well, I like it because it's more like the actions are more honest than the conversation.
I mean, we've talked about this
My
before. Like,
God.
that's why I like Wall-E so much. So much
Yeah.
of the movie is just communicated via action.
It's like if you have no means of communication other than actions, would relationships be better?
I mean, people fix a lot of problems via communicating, but people also fuck a lot of shit up via communicating. So I was supposed to measure that. People find a lot of meaning in verbal communication. Isaac, give me a preview. How are you thinking about this question
Like,
yourself?
fucking hell, being shot by a million things.
Well, it's nothing less than you deserve, is it?
No, it's like, well, say for example, like
No one's very active on Discord.
cavemen, right?
Mhm.
It's like, say you can't like have proper like talking and things. Like all you can do in terms of a relationship is like the big
Unga
stuff,
bunga.
like have kids
Oh.
and like look after each
Yeah.
other and like look after each other when they're sick and da 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 da. Da. So like,
Yeah, you think people were happier then?
no, but it's more like a different way of. It's more straightforward in terms of what you're like doing.
Yeah, but weren't we trying to make a moral judgment here?
Hmm.
What, am I misunderstanding? I'm asking.
Don't know.
I mean, you told me that when you come up with ideas and stories that you do almost like no dialogue, and I'm like the opposite. Like to me, like a lot is communicated via banter. Like there's a lot of implicit information that goes under the dialogue. So to me, it feels like I get more bang for my buck if I just have like a direct conversation between two characters, and I can almost use that as a launching point for what the relationship is, just from a single conversation. Like this captures what they are. What am I missing here? God fucking damn it. Okay, I just need to tag this because me clearly big dum-dums. But yeah, me and you don't really use Discord, really, do we? Like, we just make plans and then we show up in voice chat when we actually meet.
Yeah, we talk. We don't actually like talk
Back and forth
like
at all.
text. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how I
Text-
operate in real life. It's like
I mean,
I don't
I've told
talk
you
to
that
my family or friends or anything unless I see them in person.
Yeah, because I just get so much more out of face-to-face communication. I also had pretty bad experiences in the past with people misinterpreting my text, and I'm just like, ah, fuck, it's not even worth it at this point.
Yeah. But it's also like what you want to communicate about. It's like say like people at work I work with, it's like all I talk about them with is like I just joke around or like talk about the stuff that's happening at work or like something kind of, what's your opinion on this or that, or like, what do you think I should do in this situation? It's like
Mhm.
I wouldn't have a conversation with them about like writing TV shows or my ideas and stuff. I've tried before, but then they're not interested because it's like a niche thing. So it's like there's no reason for me to talk to them outside of work because the conversations I want, I can't have with them anyway.
Do you think there's a way of convincing people to be interested in niche things? Or does it just depend on a person's open-mindedness?
It depends on.
Like, do you think that it doesn't apply to me just because I'm the sort of person that actually finds people's interest in other things interesting myself? So, like, I don't mind hearing people talk about something I usually wouldn't give a shit about just because the fact that they're interested in it is sort of inherently interesting to me.
Yeah. But then it's like we have the same interest in stuff as well, like writing and books and like sci-fi and fantasy.
Yeah. Speaking of, I'm about to watch a show called Dark Matter just because I have a subscription on Apple TV now, and it's like the highest rated thing there of TV series. That's labeled sci-fi. Do you know anything about it?
I think I've heard about it, but I don't think I don't remember exactly what it's about.
Me neither. That's why I'm about to find out. But I thought I should mention it just in case, since it is sci-fi. If you were interested, and then we could maybe watch it together. Oh yeah, wait. When are you?
I'm not
not
doing.
a people person.
I'm not watching it with my friend anymore because we couldn't think of something to watch.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
It's unfair
You
enough.
saw where my question was going. Interesting. You're even like a book, Isaac.
Yes.
That's just
We
interesting.
regularly say the same jokes and the same shit all the time.
Stop calling me predictable, you son.
But then technically I'm predictable as well if we're saying the same jokes.
Yeah. We God, we might as well get married. We keep finishing each other's sandwiches.
Got completely destroyed by 50 robots.
That is not how I expect that sentence to end. It's close enough. That's why we keep getting destroyed by 50 robots at once. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Yes.
We both
it
love
adds up.
getting destroyed by robots.
I mean, I for one welcome our
Certainly
robot
worth the
overlords.
extra
Hey Isaac, you want to hear something funny?
What?
Our bond is strong.
Actually, I can't tell if she's asking or saying that I'm a people person. Does that feel accurate?
I feel like you're extroverted or you like conversing.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on the definition. The definition of like you get energy from interacting with people rather than
I
like drains you.
I get stressed by people. Like we've talked about this plenty of times. I feel drained talking to people because I feel too responsible about the other person's emotional state, and that is not a good feeling for me. So I don't like. Oh, this piece of shit. Not you, to be clear. So I generally don't like interacting with new people. Interacting with friends is easy, but that's like, who wouldn't that be easy for? Who hates their friends?
Me?
Oh my god, Isaac! I think she cracked the code. You know what she said?
What?
Stop caring, then.
That's pretty good actually.
Fuck! If only I thought about that.
How do I destroy this fucking base?
Like emotionally. Hit them with a love bomb. Oh wait, this has to zap that. Thank you for the golden base.
Oh god, that's how I do it.
What do you do?
Fucking dropship just landed on me. Like it exploded on me.
Classic. It's funny how much I yell in those games.
Yeah. Oh, I just
And
got killed by a
then-
cat.
And it's like it's so genuine. But then I don't really care afterwards, like at all.
Yeah. Yeah, see, it seems like it stresses you out, but then maybe that's just how you're expressing yourself like overly like enthusiastically.
Yeah, because I just see it as being engaged. Do I have pets? Yes. No. Wait.
Pet peeves.
Yeah. Yes.
You got like 10 million cats.
No, that's my mother. But I have to take care of them.
Right, so-
Also, thanks for bringing it up. One of them just recently died. So.
Well,
Good
my
times.
grandmother recently died, so
Whoa! Fucking Jesus! What did you win exactly?
this argument. Oh god.
Wait, what are we arguing? Was it the
your viewers
impression
are
Olympics
scum.
here? What? Who's the scum?
Your viewers.
Oh. Why don't Isaac stream? Isaac, you should stream. You should stream your work, just in case somebody's interested.
Well,
Like
it's
when you're at the
proprietary.
office.
It's
Yes.
trademarked and top secret.
Yeah, so why not? How am I supposed... Isn't one beam supposed to hit this thing eventually? I am so lost. What the fuck am I doing? I just need to target this and move on. Wait, have I done it already? I might have done it already. Oh my fucking god. Did your grandma have a favorite author? Mine or Isaac's? Oh, probably yours since she's
I don't
dead
know.
and you just mentioned her.
How would I know?
I don't know. I assumed you had some sort of relationship with her, but maybe not based on how coldly you stated her death. Maybe you're happy she's dead. What do I know?
No, I'm not. I would never be.
Did she
Again, I'm
seriously
not.
recently die?
Yeah, my
How recently?
mom, like last week.
Jesus. Okay, well, this is how I found out. Huh?
Yeah.
My condolences.
But it's like my other one died like a year ago. So.
So it all evens out. What's with the phone?
As in, I'm better at dealing with it, I guess. I don't know. That's...
Okay, you got the emotional strength for
Yeah.
further onslaughts of death.
I've gained a new appreciation for death.
For the death of all older gentlemen, elder species.
I don't know, like I think I kind of have a weird feeling. It's like I think I just got kicked. Oh no, my screen just went crazy. It's like, yeah.
I think I'd be sadder now than I would when I was younger because I didn't really have a proper relationship because like they died when I was still in single digits in terms of years.
Mhm.
So then I didn't get to develop any sort of real relationship with them. Like it's still sad, but I think it'd be worse now because now I actually banter with my grandma regularly when she comes to visit, and I think I told you about this. I reached a point where I realized that she's too apathetic to how I feel, so now I just like give it to her back, and she just thinks it's funny. So we found a good groove. My mother's favorite author. Okay, what? Jane Austen? Isn't that her? Maybe. I mean, she's really into crime, but for some reason, she was really into a lot of those books, movies, and shows. It could be that she likes others in that sort of setting, though.
Well, I know my mum likes Tolkien a lot, but like all the extra books as well. Silmarillion and Hobbit.
What a fucking nerd.
Nerd.
Liking Silmarillion is actually disgusting.
I haven't actually read it yet. So.
But you don't have to. We've seen Rings of Power. How much better can it get? It's still fun to me how fucking angry some people were about that show. I'm just like, that's fucking mediocre. I don't care. And I can't tell, like, how many people actually think that it's a shit show or a good show, and how many fans are just going apeshit because it has to be exactly the thing that they want.
I like Ursula Le Guin.
Isn't that the
Like
Earthsea?
sci-fi. Yeah.
Yeah.
But she has written a lot more like sci-fi than fantasy, and I haven't read much about sci-fi. But I liked the two that I have read.
I think we talked about that.
But they're quite like
I've done this one. Damn it.
like not slow exactly, but like
Oh,
oh my,
what?
I'm dead.
Nah, you're fine. Don't think about it. 3 long, 3 down, 1 down. There you go.
Certainly worth the extra mile.
Isaac, watch out. She's giving hotlink.
You don't trust niggas.
Exactly. Fucking challenge fail. I fucking open the chest. Ah! Was that David I heard? His fucking mic is as awful as usual.
Yeah, I don't have a good mic today. A different setup.
Is the good mic like portable? This is like the laptop mic, the built-in.
Yeah.
Okay. We've gone through a lot of things now. Should we retrace some topics, Isaac?
Well,
What kind of
Dave
top?
needs to know as we're streaming in case he's going to say anything.
Oh.
I think he'll be able to hold himself back from screaming the N-word. What's Dave's favorite
Yes,
author?
I'll refrain from that.
What is your favorite author? I don't
Author?
think I have. Yeah. Like, I don't think about it in terms of that. Like, I just like. I usually just go by, like, okay, I like this song, this movie, this thing. I don't usually follow people's
Film?
work.
Like a film author or like book author? Or
I'm assuming
Emails?
book.
book, yeah. Well,
That is what we talked about.
I'm not
earlier.
an avid reader, so don't really have much apart from.
That's really funny. I'm not an avid reader either. Like, I
Yeah.
fucking need audiobooks. Like, I can't fucking put my face to a page and read it and absorb it. There's like
It's not all weirdos.
too much noise in my head that I need to filter out in order to properly read shit.
Hmm.
And that's so fucking
Like-
ironic, considering how much I like Disco Elysium. But I think they managed to make like the dialogue and writing so punchy and everything so connected that I always had something to associate the writing with. And I think it's too hard for books to grab me properly so that I can flow through them.
Honestly, like the only author that I remember, like being actually interested in finishing his books was Orwell.
George Orwell?
Yeah.
Okay.
I read quite a lot.
Fuck it, where? You're a nerd.
Like I read at work and I read on the like train to work, and like sometimes at home.
Yeah.
But,
Have you
Like-
tried any audiobooks? Like, do you just prefer reading? or-
like yeah, well, like I feel like audiobooks will dictate the pace to me, which I don't want. It's like I want to read at my own pace.
That's
Yeah.
what I like about it. Like, if it doesn't set the pace, my thoughts drift. That's why I need the audiobooks. Oh, I
But
like
then it
Julia's
depends.
question. How can you talk so much when you don't read? Aimed at me, saying I don't read.
But like, think about. So when I read, basically, what's happening to me is like, I'm turning the book into like a film in my brain, right? So I'm like watching it,
Sure.
and then as I read, like the words feed into the image, right? So it's like I'm making the image while I'm reading. And so it's like it's really easy for me to like concentrate and keep reading the book because it's almost the same as watching a movie because I can like fade out everything around me. Like say I'll be on the train to
Yeah,
work.
it's like
Get
that's
on.
the upside of reading a book for me, but it just like doesn't happen. I don't know how else to say it. Like it happens so rarely that it doesn't feel like there's any point in me trying to do that.
But then it's like I like say I'm at work, right? I'm at like the desk, and there's like two people either side of me working as well, and there's like visitors all around, and like say I'm not serving anyone at the desk. I'm like reading a book, right? Ignoring like both people next to me because they're working or doing their own thing or whatever, and like I'm reading the book. Someone comes to the desk, and I'm like interacting with them, and say like I say, okay, you can pay now. And they're like sorting something out, you know, their wallet or something. I like go back to the book. So like they're standing there in front of me while I'm reading. Like, so I can like cut in and out for like 5 seconds. Like keep reading.
But I can do that with an
cut back.
audiobook too. I just go back like 5 seconds.
No, but as in like, I'm
No.
reading the book while I'm talking to them. So it's like,
Wait, what? No, that's
so it's like,
no, fuck off. You can't do that. You're occupying the linguistic center. Like you can't have a verbal and reading conversation at the same time.
like step like so like I say, okay, you can pay now, and then instantly look at my screen and keep reading. And then they're
okay, sure.
it's like in and out quickly like that.
Okay, but then I can also half pay attention to an audiobook.
But then I'm not half like. But it's kind of.
Okay, no.
But then you say it's difficult for you to read, like you just can't. Your brain, like, does it go off and think about something else while you're reading?
Yeah, that's my primary issue. That's why I've like had to. Like I just started. This wasn't even intentional. I just ended up reading way more non-fiction than fiction because I realized that's the only thing that could like maintain my interest properly. If I start reading fiction, they try to get like very flowery with their language and colorful, and it's like it's probably what the intent. Like it puts you in a daydreaming mode where like you can visualize everything. But if you can start visualizing things, then I stop paying attention to the actual words that are being said, and I just fucking drift off.
Yeah, I have so much.
Generally, yeah.
I usually like read like practical books. I don't know how they call it. Like
Yeah, so I can read like I was about to say research papers. That's not quite it, but like reports or articles about things that are interesting nonfiction usually, because then I know that I'm interested from the get-go, whereas fiction has to like establish a premise and characters and all this fucking preamble shit that just takes too long to get me hooked to the point where I've almost given up.
Yeah, I agree with that. I have a similar.
But can't you see that as like what you're reading? Like, say I'm reading like a fantasy book, and it's kind of.
Why would you ever do that?
Throughout the book, it's saying things like. No, but like, so what I was saying before, where like I imagine the scene while I'm reading the book, it's like I'm in the scene, like creating the details in the scene in my brain. So I'm like actively creating the image, so I can't be distracted because I'm like working on something basically.
What do you mean actively?
Like, to say
you're fucking running around with a hammer and chisel and just etching things out in the scene.
No, but as in like, say there's a scene where it's saying, okay, a guy like recently. Okay, he's on his horse and he's like through the desert and he's coming across the war camp and he's like walking his way through the war camp to the chieftain's tent, and it's like
That's from
I'm like
the Barbarian, isn't it?
it's like I'm making that scene, like I'm visualizing that scene and like
Yeah.
thinking about, okay, how many tents and how big is it, and like it's kind of getting bigger and sort of.
I need to stop you. Like, I can't tell which topic we currently are on because this started out as
Certainly
normal book versus audiobook, and I don't know if we're actually on that topic right now. Like, you're just talking about visualizing
it's-
things, but I can do that with an audiobook too.
No,
so
but the topic
um,
you're saying is you can't focus because like you're reading and you start thinking of other details. So it's easier for you to read non-fiction because you're like figuring shit out, or like
Yeah, because if I'm reading, it's easier for me to just blur my eyes and stop paying attention and start thinking about the visual. But when I have an audio,
boats are made for
it
transfer
can
of
like pull me
commodities
back to the words that are being said. So even though like I miss a few words, I still get the gist of it, and it's easier for me to get like dragged along.
that's what I mean. It's like you don't need to get dragged along if you're actively creating the images in your brain.
I don't. Okay.
You're like,
I
you're
need
like,
an explanation as to actively.
so like say I tell you to like come up with like a scene of like two characters fighting, right? If I say imagine that now and like figure out that
She
scene.
asks if you have a wild imagination. I would say you have a fucking taskmaster in control of your imagination. There's nothing wild about it.
Like
Everyone hold hands.
say I say to you like imagine the scene, right? Like
Yeah.
say it's, you know, like a I don't know, like a palace in some fucking fantasy place or something. Like you're thinking of all the details. Okay, how big is it? What are the curtains like? What's the room like? Like
The curtains.
so-
What are you, gay?
so that's what I mean.
Sorry.
Like the whole point, as I'm reading, I'm literally doing that as I'm reading. It's like I'm designing the sets as I'm reading the book. So like I act like
Okay.
it's like I'm actively
Okay, I just go into the amount of detail necessary for me to imagine the scene. Like, it seems like you add detail for the sake of it.
no, but it's like I can't turn it off because it's like I'm trying to think what's a good example.
Yeah, but when you
Like,
say actively, like, this happens to be subconsciously. Like, if you can't turn it off, then it sounds like it's automatic. If it's automatic, then it's subconscious. If it's subconscious, it's not active.
it's like both.
So-
No, well, like you're reading the book, right? That's the activeness, right?
Yes, or I'm listening to an audio book, which is still active because it requires attention to process the information.
So it's like that's what it's like.
Do
The
you understand
entire
my problem? Like, let's start there. Do you understand the problem that I'm having with your explanation?
like
Like,
It's like
explain
you-
my problem back to me so I know that you understand.
you're trying to read a book, but then your mind goes off somewhere else other than the book.
I mean, I meant the problem I had with your argument, not the original overarching problem. But yes, I drift. My thoughts drift.
So it's like, so you're not. It's almost like you're not reading. But how does that even play out? It's
Yeah.
like you're reading the sentence and like
I'm reading the
You just
sentence.
stop.
It describes like the scene. I start thinking of the scene. I start thinking about other places in the scene. I forget I was reading. I have to go over it. Like, oh, yeah, that's right. It was here in the scene.
right.
This is like every time I think of the scene, I stop focusing on the page and I start imagining the scene. Then I remember, wait a second, I was reading a book. Then I reread the same fucking sentence. I start imagining the scene. And then I get dragged away in the scene, and then I have to remember, wait, I was reading a fucking book, then I have to reread the sentence, and it happens like 5 fucking times. I'm like, oh my god, I can't keep reading the same sentence 5 fucking times because of the fucking visuals I get that can't just chill for a second. Like, it's like my mind won't do both, which is why I need something that will pull at my attention better than just a page with words on it does.
So I think that's the difference, because like for me, it's like my reading, like imagine I'm like feeding in fucking meat into a sausage making machine.
Exactly.
Right.
Please, your metaphors are always fucking insane. Okay, you're feeding sausages.
I'm making sausages, right? So I'm like feeding
Okay.
meat into the tubes and blah blah blah, and it's like I'm like making the sausages, right?
Okay, but the metaphor, Isaac.
It's hard to think when I'm killing robots. Like,
Time to think.
It's like,
I mean,
you-
I
so
would
when-
not be able to talk and kill a
so it's
topic
like
at the same time.
it's like you're saying, like, you're trying to read the book, but you stop and you're like imagining the scene, and then you
Uh-huh.
stop reading because you're like going off imagining the setting and other scenes and places and things, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Because,
But for me,
because it's
yeah.
all associative. Like, I might imagine a scene, see the layout, something there reminds me of something else. I start thinking about a character, a person, a different story, something else, and it's just easy to just board that train of thoughts and never come.
Mm.
And
That's what I
why
mean,
I
yeah.
never fucking. That's why I struggle with finishing books. Whereas, if I have the audiobook, I'm on a train already. I can like move back and forth at my own pace on top of the train, but the train is moving no matter what.
Right.
So that's helpful for me. But yes, Yuumi, it means that I'm bad at reading. Fucking sold that one, Sherlock.
Attention I don't know. Attention
ADD.
issues.
I'm still trying to get diagnosed.
But it's like, so you start reading, and what you're reading creates a scene in your head, and then you get lost in the scene.
The scene is too distracting, and the page just disappears.
Right. So for me, what happens is I read, it creates the scene, and then the more I read, the information from what I'm reading feeds into the scene. So it's like
Okay.
the scene can't move without me reading.
Sure.
So it's like I have to feed fuel into the fucking train for it to keep going.
And that's
So
why
it's
it's
like-
active for you and it's passive for me, because my mind is just laying down the tracks and I just have to decide whether or not to hop onto this train or stick to the one that I'm
Yeah.
on.
So it's like you can't stick to the train. You can't like. You can't
And
like.
now
You basically
please-
let the train stop, and you get out of the train, and you walk off into a field, basically. And then you're like, oh shit, wait, the train's back there. I better walk back.
No,
and get the
because
train
that would be
going."
automatic. That would be active, and that's not how this is happening. It's like there's always multiple trains running in parallel, and then I realize, fuck, I'm on the wrong train. I have to fucking jump, but that
Yeah.
takes energy. And now you and me is suggesting manhwas, also known as mangas and fucking comic books. They also don't work for me. I look at a page and I see all the information on the page, which means I'm not reading it at the right pace and order. So, like for me, web comics have been better because that's just like a series of images. I can't fuck up the order. But I think that's heresy for a lot of people because there's a lot of artistry that goes into the layout of a comic book, and I appreciate none of it. I'm a fucking Philistine.
Yeah, like.
But you did not have a problem with that, did you?
What?
Comic
Reading
books.
stuff.
You have no problem
No.
with comic books. It seems
I
like you
read
like
like it's I read it. It's like I
mangas.
act like it's like I choose my focus. You know what I mean? It's like,
How?
well, say like you read a fucking comic book, you know it's left to right, or like manga, it's like it's top to bottom, right to left. So you kind of
I
just
guess.
like move your eyes intentionally to those places, and if you read really fast,
Mhm.
like you don't have the issue of like getting lost because say you're
Actually, I
You-
do, because I imagine a lot of things.
that's what I mean. Like, so what you need is you need to basically like say your metaphor of like there's
Did
millions
you
of
say that
trains.
you used mood music when we were reading comic books? Maybe that's something that helps with maintaining focus.
So when I'm on the train, I just have music on and I just like listen. Like I have music on and I read. But when I'm at the desk at work, I have music. I just keep reading.
Yeah, but when you read comic books, you had mood music, didn't you? Like, didn't you say you did that with
Sometimes.
Berserk?
Yeah, but like I can just not have it. It doesn't really affect me that much. Like I read One Piece with no music normally because it's like the new issues come out and I just like do it.
Okay, does it help or doesn't it? This is a simple question.
Um,
No. My problem for me is also that it's almost worse than a book because they're creating images for me, and that's like part of the fun for me to do. So even though I might be able to like pay attention, I lose interest faster with comic books. Also, I don't know how fast I should be going through a comic book. Sometimes they have large parts where they don't really have like any dialogue at all. It's just like a long series of images, and I'm just like, okay, should I be spending like 5 seconds per page like I'm tempted to here? Because like again, I see the page, I absorb it, I'm done within like 5 seconds. But it feels like that's not how it's intended to be enjoyed. So then I just fucking second guess myself. Maybe I shouldn't be doing that. It sort of feels like playing a JRPG, and then you're skipping the cutscenes. Like, what are you here for, the battles? Fucking.
Yeah.
I think I'm just enjoying it wrong. At which point, I might as well stop interacting with it. Hey, Dave, did you grow up with any comic books? I had none in my life, like my entire life.
Donald Duck.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah, no, we had that shit too. Apparently that's like a thing in Scandinavia. I don't think America has like Donald Duck comic books and shit. I don't know why. I don't know why. That's just the end of the sentence. Fuck it. It seems so weird for like Scandinavia to just like adopt an American cartoon as part of their culture. Just like, this is ours now. We like the comic books, like the animations, anything like that, the movies. No. The comic books specifically. Okay. You do you.
Yeah.
But you had them in
Like traffic.
Czechia?
Traffic stops. The shops, the small
Yeah.
shop next to
Kiosks.
traffic.
I don't know what people talk them, like newsstands. Is that what those are called? Yeah. My uncle actually had a fucking sizable collection of Donald Duck comic books, and it's also a Christmas tradition to watch fucking old ass Mickey Mouse cartoons for some reason. They aren't even Christmas themed. It's just like, it's a thing to do.
Yeah.
I don't understand how these traditions start, but nothing's stopping them either. So I guess it's just gotten too much momentum and it's just never gonna stop moving.
Solidify.
But oh, hey, we're all here. Should we just jump into Helldivers? I sort of wanted to break because it got too hectic. I'm actually happier having a conversation. I'm just checking.
No, I was gonna do something with my other friend, but it's not happening now, so it's fine. I'm around.
Yeah.
But I need to
Kinda
go
late.
soon.
We were talking about artsy fartsy movies so that Isaac could have something.
Oh, we can
to
just watch
with.
that stream
What stream?
with the PC Gamer stream.
Oh, did you link something? Sorry, I haven't
PC
been paying
Gaming.
attention. Oh yeah.
Is it
3
Is
minutes.
that
live?
going on right now?
It's starting soon. Okay, yeah, it's starting soon. What is it? PC gaming show. Yeah, let's just do that.
Does
Then.
Manthis wine
I can
taste the
actually
same
do
as
it here,
Alexander?
right? On the app.
Where are those
It's better
who
with the
share
link, though, isn't it?
memory?
Oh, yeah, I guess.
Okay. Want to tell me when it's starting? I think I need
Yes.
to cut the stream because it'll be funky if I don't.
So what? Cut the stream here or cut the stream where?
I'll cut my stream to watch the stream together with you, but there's no point in cutting my stream until I know we're watching it there. And is it ready yet?
I'm gonna be right back and get some more.
Oh yeah, there's that too.
Be right back.
Be right back.
Yeah, I'm back. Who let this fucking bald guy on here?
Yeah. Mm. Mm.
Oi. Grab popcorn. I was at it. I'm forever alone, need tea and scones. Please call my home. What's up?
Where are the games, huh? Where are there people on my screen, huh?
Mm.
I think it's time to kill the